Hi, this is Terry. Um, I've chosen Luke chapter 8, verse 22. Let me start by saying how much I hate this assignment. I don't want to videotape myself. Okay. Um, Jesus calms the storm. One day Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side of the lake." So they got into a boat and set out. As they sailed, he fell asleep. A squall came down on the lake so that the boat was being swamped and they were in great danger. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Master, Master, we're going to drown." He got up and rebuked the wind and the raging waters. The storm subsided and all was calm. "Where is your faith?" he asked his disciples. In fear and amazement, they asked one another, "Who is this? He commands even the winds and the waters, and they obey him." Before I give a description of the things that I experience in the scripture, I wanted to tell you why I chose this one. Two things. I've been in 3 tornadoes. um, Not like near them, but in them. So that's a warning if you're one of my friends to not hang out with me often if there's a storm. Um, and the other thing is a story where we took our children canoeing, and we have 5 boys and 1 girl, and this was several years ago, but the canoe flipped over, and when it did, I was underneath it. We had one son who was literally hanging in a tree branch, another whose shoes were floating down the river, and I was under the canoe and underwater. And I remember thinking, "Oh Lord, what am I going to do? I'm drowning. I can't swim. This is horrible." And then I just heard a still small voice say, "Stand up." And when I did, the water was like just barely above my knees. So I know what it's like to feel panicked when actually you're just fine. So when I look at this story, when I think about what the disciples who were with Jesus must have felt, I know that they felt afraid and fearful as they saw the storm coming. And when I think about taste, at first I thought maybe there was a taste of salt water. Then I realized that it's a lake, so it probably doesn't have that. But I did think about the taste of mud and dirt and how lakes have that kind of slime on them. And then there's touch, the touch of the wooden boat, and even of each other, or even possibly having to touch Jesus, to shake him, to wake him, depending on how sleepy he was. And then there are sights, seeing the clouds form, and seeing the sun go in and be covered, suddenly. And then hearing the sound of thunder and lightning. And then finally, amazement, feeling that when they say, "Who is this who commands even the winds and the water?" and they obey him. I've been amazed at times by what he does and thought, wow, who is this God? So that's all. That's my commentary for this week. Thank you for listening.